started a show session in Collins' studio and cannot yet receive calls on Mark Rogers' Voice of College Football. Please visit the Collins Studio website and begin your session. Music will play until your session begins, or you may call back when you are ready.
Legacy. After the playing days are over, that is, at least professionally, what remains. Legacy. How is an athlete remembered? Just a few minutes ago, we saw Aaron Rodgers, arguably from a skill set standpoint, the greatest quarterback of all time, leave the field in playoff defeat again. He would have reached, with better fortune tonight, a sixth NFC championship game. Instead, he goes down to defeat to the San Francisco 49ers for a fourth time in 4 tries. He has won a Super Bowl, but just one trip. And considering where he has elevated this franchise and the level of play that he has produced and the level of play of the Green Bay Packers being contenders almost every year, serious Super Bowl contenders almost every year of his quarterbacking run, which started in 2008, you would have thought at this point more Super Bowl appearances and championships would have been produced. But we, again, see something that we have grown accustomed to seeing in January of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, and that's failing to reach the goal. Earlier today, and we don't know at this point if this is going to be the final time for Aaron Rodgers, period. Quite possibly his last go around with the Green Bay Packers. We know what happened last offseason. Joe Burrow, we saw his postseason career last weekend get off to a rip-roaring start with a win over the Las Vegas Raiders. And as a substantial underdog today on the road against the number 1 seed, another number 1 seed who went down in Tennessee in another close football game that was ruled by defense. Joe Burrow is now 2-0 as a playoff starter in just his second season in lifting the Cincinnati Bengals to a first conference championship game since 1988 after winning the franchise's first playoff game since 1991. Yes, we will connect this to college football, folks. Many of you love the NFL. We can talk NFL, but I think most of you follow me for college football talk. So we will relate this to college football and, of course, take your comments and your questions concerning anything in college football, anything in football, period, whether that be the games today, the games tomorrow. But certainly college football is first and foremost and will always remain number one here. And so we can talk the 12-team college football playoff proposal that's on the table. We can talk the recent conference rankings that I've released, that I'm still in the midst of releasing. I recorded 3 more today and are working on other conferences. I'm going to release ratings and rankings for all 10 conferences. So I've only released the math thus far, but we've got to pull it all together and see what it all means. I've got at least 40 Heisman candidates that I've compiled on a list, and I'm going to distribute those between Heisman favorites, a list of 10 or 12, and dark horse candidates for the Heisman Trophy. I asked right here on the community page on the YouTube channel for some of your suggestions, and you had some really good ones to submit, so I will include those as well. The Joe Burrow story got me thinking, what great college quarterbacks have had instant success in their postseason debuts in the NFL? It is a short, tiny list. So I'm not talking about John Elway. He did not immediately have success in the postseason in the NFL. I'm not talking about Terry Bradshaw. He did not have immediate success his first time out. His first playoff effort was thwarted by the Immaculate Reception. Well, it was spurred on by the Immaculate Reception, but then a conference championship game loss. But I'm talking about who produced on the field immediately as a collegiate star, transitioning to the NFL, and immediately, first time out. Not a lot of guys you would think of. Not a lot of the great quarterbacks throughout history that would come to mind. And great quarterbacks both on the collegiate and the NFL level. That's the first criteria. And criteria number 2, in their first shot in the postseason, produced. Rodgers Staubach, Super Bowl MVP in his first postseason, of course, after being an all-time legendary great quarterback as a Heisman Trophy winner, and then turned into one of the great all-time quarterbacks at the NFL level. If you combine the 2 levels of play, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Joe Montana, he answers the question. He checks the list. Notre Dame legend, San Francisco, his first postseason leading them to a Super Bowl win. And the historic NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys. Tom Brady, not a great college quarterback, a really good one, played well in the clutch, and certainly finished his college career with an all-timer in the Orange Bowl against Alabama. Then in his first opportunity in the postseason, of course, led the Patriots to an upset win over the Rams in the Super Bowl, and the rest is history, and it continues tomorrow, 21 years later, 20 years later, continues tomorrow, remarkably. Those are my three examples. I'm not coming up with anyone else. Peyton Manning took it on the chin a number of times before he succeeded. Troy Aikman did not come through his first time in the NFL playoffs. Here's another one. Great college quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner, Jim Plunkett. First shot at the NFL playoffs. He didn't immediately come to mind because it took him a while to get to the postseason. It took him about 9 years to get to the playoffs, but when he finally did, Super Bowl champion MVP with the Raiders. But very few check both boxes. Welcome into the Voice of College Football, everyone. It's great to be with you all on a Saturday night following an NFL doubleheader. And again, everything is always on the table. So whatever topic I put as a title, we certainly can discuss, but it's just a starter. It is just a starter. And I typically lead with some type of angle that's on my mind that hit me from the day in football. And the Joe Burrow performance and the accomplishment for a second straight week brought that college football NFL angle to mind for me. But we can talk about whatever's on your mind, and we're going to strike up the phone lines here in just a second. Let me see who's in the chat, and we'll get fired up. Oh, the real MVP. Make sure to leave a like as you join the stream. Look at that. Get into the habit. Hit the like button as soon as you join the stream. We got Michael. He's here tonight. Hummus Hero, good to see you as well. The Rod Farva, pretty boring games tonight. Wink, wink, wink. I would think that there would be few days that would match today in terms of NFL drama. My goodness, it was awesome. Hummus Hero, my big win for my Bengals today. Who day, who day? Who day? Rob J likes the topic. Robert's here. Kyle is here. Kyle does not watch professional sports. Kyle, we will talk college football. Just for you. Gold and Blue Dudes here. I know this is a college football format, but I have never seen my Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game. I have. I'm old, Chris. So I have seen your Bengals in the AFC Championship game twice. And they won both times. So they've got an undefeated record in the conference championship game. They beat, of course, the Chargers in one of the coldest games on record in history, 27-7 in the 81 AFC championship game. And then 7 years later, they beat the Bills at home again. They will not be at home. I don't think there's any way they can be at home. Who's playing tomorrow? We've got Buffalo and Kansas City. No, they will be on the road. Exploring with Ben, down and out about the Titans, falling as a 1 seed. Exploring with Ben, thank you so much for reminding everyone to hit the thumbs up. Also, you can hit me up at Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Search MarkRogersTV if you would like to contribute there. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Grab the Amazon link in the description section when you do your Amazon shopping. Put it somewhere where you will remember it. So go to the description section of any video, grab that Amazon link, and please use it when you shop on Amazon because there's no reason not to use it. It's the same shopping experience, and it helps you. It helps me. There you go. Michael wants the phones on. Michael is yelling at me to turn on the phones. You know what human nature says when that happens? Then I'm probably going to delay turning on the phones probably another 5 minutes now. Connor Johnson, Tim Tebow. Well, that's an interesting response, Connor, that you have there about Tim Tebow, because obviously one of the great all-time quarterbacks at the collegiate level. And his first playoff outing was against the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime, who there had obviously been tons of overtime playoff games before then, but I believe that was the first one under the new rules in which if you scored a touchdown, you ended the game, as opposed to kicking a field goal, extending the game. And Tim Tebow hit what I want to be accurate about this because it may have been the late Demaryius Thomas. Was it the late Demaryius Thomas? I believe this would have been in 2011. I want to say 2011, right before Peyton Manning got there. 2011. Yeah, 29-23 game, if I recall the score. Tim Tebow hit Demaryius Thomas on a slant. Can somebody verify that? I think it was Demaryius Thomas on a slant, and he took it all the way for a touchdown, and Tebow won his first NFL playoff game. Tim Tebow, this is an odd statistic. He has to have the best winning percentage for a starting quarterback, wherever that came from in regards to the credit given, the defense, the running game. Obviously, his statistics were not good, but he won the games. And I believe his starting record is 8-5. 8-5 as an NFL starter. What starter do you know of who was 8-5 in the NFL? I can think of one actually now that I think of it. Much better than 8-5. Not given a chance again to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. One scoop, John. No, not Peyton Manning. Took him a long time to succeed. Eli Manning. Technically, no, not quite, because his first playoff appearance was not good. I believe they lost to the Panthers 23-0, Eli Manning's first playoff year. Gold and Blue Dude, did not Dan Marino have instant success in the postseason? No, he did not. His first playoffs was 1983, and they lost to the Seahawks. His first game as an NFL starter, his rookie season, had a phenomenal rookie season, and then lost in the playoffs at home against the Seahawks, 27-20, if I remember correctly. Then the next year, they did go to the Super Bowl. So again, he, like Troy Aikman, took another year, second year. For Troy Aikman, it wasn't the second year, but it was the second playoff appearance to get to the Super Bowl. And of course, Dan Marino, there's a correlation with Aaron Rodgers there, although I think Rodgers is, well, I'll just say, I'm not going to go into a comparison. I would rank Rodgers ahead of Marino, but clearly ahead of Marino. But in regards to playoff success, Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl. Dan Marino did not. So there's that distinction. But in regards to thinking that a player, a quarterback, would get a team back and repeatedly back to the Super Bowl, Dan Marino, second season. And his first year was 83. He played through, 99? 17 years. Only got to the one Super Bowl. And this is now 17 years, I believe, for Aaron Rodgers. Let's see. His first starting season was 08, so it would be a 14th starting season and only one Super Bowl. Big Ben. Good call, Bobby V. Bobby V, nice work. Didn't go to the Super Bowl, but good success there, getting to an AFC Championship game. So Ben Roethlisberger, Miami of Ohio, top-notch quarterback, believe got significant Heisman votes. And then his first year with the playoffs, in the playoffs with the Pittsburgh Steelers as a rookie, they went 15-1. Now, they did lose the AFC Championship game to the Patriots. So in terms of completing it all the way through, college star to first postseason run as an NFL quarterback, getting all the way through and winning the Super Bowl, Staubach, Plunkett, Montana, Brady. I said it was a short list. I can't think of anyone else. Anybody else? Can you come up with anyone else? College star, first postseason Super Bowl champion. No. Anyway. Many come close. Erica, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Erica, I believe, an Iowa fan. What has been so amazing about starting some of these other channels, and we started Iowa maybe about 9 months ago would be my guess, is that we brought in different fans from different fan bases, and now they join us on the main channel too. Again, one scoop, John. First postseason appearance for Big Ben. That was his second. That was his second postseason appearance. So he's in the Troy Aikman category. Just missed. Kirby's here. Go Dogs. Golden Blue Dude. Hopefully he heard my response. He did not. Yes, we don't have the phone line up quite yet. I've completed half of the task to get it going. We'll get it going here in just a second. Rob J. Wink, wink. Tommy Frazier is up there. What happened to Tommy Frazier? Did he give it any kind of go in the NFL? He never played in the NFL. I'm just about positive. All right, let's fire up the phone lines. And see what all of you have to say tonight. All right, folks, welcome into the Voice of College Football. The number there on the bottom ticker, 860-499-3332. Most important aspect of the show for me personally would be hit the like button. If any of you own a small business or in any way could sponsor the show, give me a ring. First, give me an email. MarkRogersTV at Gmail. MarkRogersTV at Gmail. You can always find me at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. I will always respond. Many people can verify that. Do not ask me questions that you can ask me here. Like I had somebody ask me the other day, I had like 3 questions after a call-in show, people asking me questions about the Oklahoma defense, and no. I'm not fielding emails about football questions. No, I'm here all the time. So we would love to get a sponsor. We would love for that to be you and your business. So please sponsor us. Hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Let's start there. MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Whether you want to sponsor a specific show, sponsor the call-in show, sponsor the Florida channel, sponsor the Nebraska show, we've got tons of options for you. And of course, I can explain what we can deliver for you, how we could sponsor you, and certainly highlight your business, and also how many people we reach, and all of that. So MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Any more guesses before any other quarterbacks that come to mind before I hit the phone lines? Exploring with Ben. Mark, you are not old, forever youthful. Love it. David says a choke by the Packers, a choke by their special teams. The defense was lights out. I was watching that game. You know, we only got about 3 drives into that game, and even though the Packers were up 7-0, I thought, you know, they're blowing some opportunities here. This feels like a San Francisco game. This feels like a San Francisco game. Pizza Woman, good to see you. Spaghetti Factory as well. Dave E., thank you for being here. And Yeah, special teams. That's part of the game. And it was huge. And Robbie Gould was not going to miss that kick. Even in those conditions, my goodness, he's now 20 for 20 in the postseason. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Who's on the line? Give me 2 seconds so I can hear you. One more time on that one.
Spencer Petras or Aaron Rodgers?
Spencer Petras probably would have pulled that game out. He probably would have,
Mark,
I don't know, gone off on a 50-yard touchdown run or something.
I think Aaron Rodgers has entered the transfer portal. I'll talk to you Tuesday.
Good to hear from you. Corey Bratta from the Hawkeye of the Storm. So, Iowa fans, if you're not aware, we've got an Iowa channel in which Corey posts most of the content there. And also, we've got an Iowa show every Tuesday night, as Corey alluded to there, 4:30 Central Time. And also, if you love Hawkeye basketball and football, because you get different football content over at from the Hawkeye of the Storm, jump on over there and check out Corey's work from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Let's get Corey to 1,000 subs. I don't know where he is right now, but he's short of 1,000. We'd like to get him to 1,000 from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Look it up right here on YouTube. Aaron Rodgers, Spencer Petras. Boy, that's a tough call. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Who's on the line? Hello. Somebody must have hung up here. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Who's on the line?
Hey, Mark, it's Willie.
Willie. How you been?
How's it? Good. Hey, can I talk a little college football with you?
Absolutely.
Well, I saw Oklahoma State lost a 47-game starter, Jarek Bernard Converse, in the transfer portal. He's from Louisiana, and I don't know if he can come up here with Knowles or not. I'm hoping he might.
Okay.
I mean, he was first team All Big 12 last year at cornerback. So if we could get him, that would help us tremendously. I don't know if we have a chance at him or not.
Willie, give me his name one more time, please.
Jarek Bernard Converse. I think he was number 24 for Oklahoma State. He started 47 straight games. He's from Louisiana. He just went in the portal like Thursday.
Okay. 48 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 4-year starter. As you mentioned, almost 200 career tackles, 23 pass breakups, 2 picks. All right. He's out there. Well, Jim Knowles would be the guy to be able to certainly tell Ryan Day, let's go get this guy.
Also, I wanted to talk to you about the guy that you have. 2 guys you talk to on your Miami telecast. The one guy had an orange shirt, and the other guy knew about everything about football recruiting. I've never heard a guy know more about football recruiting.
Yes,
than
Big
that
Cam.
Guy.
He's phenomenal. Yes.
Okay. But the second guy with the orange.
Yep.
The only thing I have to disagree with him was he kept saying that he was upset because the assistant coach left Miami and took a lateral move to Alabama. Now, it might have been a lateral move in the year 2000, but in this day and age, leaving Miami and going to Alabama as a coach is not a lateral move, because Miami will not be in the playoffs, and Alabama has like a 95% chance of getting in.
Well, did you hear my response, Willie?
I thought you said it wasn't a lateral move also.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Yeah. I think he was just pretty upset about the
yes, he was.
The guy leaving. I don't know. He was upset that whole broadcast. When I looked to join the broadcast that you have in your conglomeration there, I look for guys that are so knowledgeable, like the one guy, or guys like the two guys that do the Michigan ones, the two brothers. There's one heavy set, and then there's the younger guy in the background. The older guy. Now he's more of a person like you, where the second guy in the background is a cheerleader. He wants me. He's not middle of the road. I understand it, but the guy in the front is a great guy for the Michigan broadcast. I look for guys like that when I try to find your, you got so many channels. I can't get them all, or when I get my recommendations on YouTube, I won't get any of my old TV shows. And another thing I wanted to talk about is I got a quarterback. His first year in the NFL, he won the championship. Otto Graham, Cleveland Browns, 1950. They beat the Browns, but it wasn't. They beat the Rams, but it wasn't Super Bowl era.
That's a good call. And as you well know, Willie, that was not his first year in professional football. So if anyone can answer these two questions, so Willie, don't give out the answer. Somebody in the chat, let us know if you know why Otto Graham won the NFL championship in his first year in the NFL, but that was not his first year of professional football. Where was he playing before that? Number one. Number two, where did Otto Graham quarterback in college? Question number two. All right, we're going to see if anybody gets that. And of course, you can cheat and look on Google, but we want you to try to get it yourself.
Oh, well, do you want me to do any answering, or I'll just wait for somebody?
No, I know you know the answer. I want to see if we'll do a little education, a little old time football. Yes, pre-Super Bowl era. Well done, Willie. Nice job.
I loved Otto Graham. When I met him, he couldn't have been nicer to me. He signed a football and put both his numbers on. I think he was 16 and 60 in his career. And he was just a great guy,
Well, I would go down and check, but I don't want to miss this super chat. Let me see if anybody cares to answer our question here. The Rod Farva says Graham was drafted by the Lions. That may be true. I don't know that. There we go. We got Studio Roto, who says the All-America Football Conference. Absolutely right.
You got that one.
Got that.
Well, also he coached at he went back and coached at the college he played at, I think. Didn't he?
I believe so.
And he coached a college all-star team every year.
And yes, the Rod Farva with the correct answer on Otto Graham. Yes, went to Northwestern.
That's Otto Graham. I still say there's automatic Otto. He was what you call, other than Unitas, he was probably the best team leader I ever saw on the field. Also, I wanted Bob Greasy went to Purdue, and they did get their one Rose Bowl that year. I think it was 1967.
Yep.
I don't remember who they played or even if they won in that game.
Well, 67, actually, Indiana went to the Rose Bowl in 67.
Well, he must have went the next year then, didn't he?
Well, the Ohio State went in 68. I think they went the 66 season, which might have been January 1st, 67. But I know Indiana went in, and that was the last time that Indiana beat Ohio State until 1987.
Anthony Thompson ran for 200 some yards that day against us.
Yes.
They went crazy on us.
So let's see. Yeah, so in the 66 season, Purdue beat USC 14-13 in the Rose Bowl, quarterbacked by Bob Greasy. Then the next year, USC played Indiana and won, and then was the great Ohio State team that beat USC and O.J. Simpson, 68 season.
And then in '69, we didn't get to go to the Rose Bowl, but did Michigan get to go that year?
Yes. They lost
Now,
to
did
USC.
they win that? Okay, and then the next year, somehow we managed to lose to Stanford.
Yep, Jim Plunkett, who was one of my quarterbacks that I offered up tonight as a great college quarterback who won a Super Bowl his first postseason.
Well, I think there's one quarterback that started and won an NFL title and an AFL title, and there's only one. And he won it with the Detroit Lions and the San Diego Chargers.
Okay, let me think about that. Won an NFL and an AFL title with the Lions and the Chargers. Well,
he quarterbacked the game that Jim Brown played his first championship game in.
Which would have been 57.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Jim Brown's first year was 57 with the Lions, and then he went to that's kind of throwing me off because John Hadle was the great quarterback for the Chargers most of the 60s. It wasn't.
He came in ahead of Hadle, and they rotated.
Bobby Lane?
No.
Was it?
Maybe one of your people.
Yeah, I'm going to kick myself as soon as I hear the answer. Yeah, see, well, we got like David Greenshield. I just think David just throwing names at the wall. Rob says only great Lions quarterback was Bobby Lane. The other name that comes to mind, but I know him more as a Cleveland Brown, but I think he was with the Lions. Was it Milt Plum?
No, it wasn't Milt Plum.
He went to the Chargers. So he would have been the Chargers started playing in 1960 when the AFL started. And they started, winning championships. So he would have played with Lance Allworth, right?
When you hear that he played like 14 years in the leagues.
So he played from the mid-50s, but for the Lions.
He might have been. No, I'm not sure he played his whole NFL career with the Lions.
Well, you said he played. Okay. Michael, we've got Willie. We've got. I appreciate all the guesses, but people are throwing out some crazy ones. Joe Namath. No. Not Joe Namath. Yeah, Robert, Jeff Hostetler. No, that was about 30 years later. Oh, the Rod Farva's got a great guess. He's got a great guess, and this might be right. Tobin Road?
Yep, that's it.
There it is. Okay. Who also played for the Giants.
Anybody? There must be some old timers out there. They looked it up pretty quick.
They looked it up. Oh, you can look that up quick if you just went quarterback, Chargers, Lions, championship, put something like that in. And we're not saying you did the Rod Farva, but even if you did, I did finally want the answer. But Tobin Road didn't he also play with the Giants, the New York Giants?
I think he came up and was a backup. He might have been ahead of Chuck Conley for the Giants.
Yeah.
And then Conley took the job and they moved him on.
Does anyone know who Chuck Connerly played for in college? Do you know, Willie?
I'm good. Maybe Alabama.
Ole Miss.
I thought it was somewhere down south because I hated the Giants. They somehow always managed to finish ahead of the Browns for like 7. They got in 5 straight title games and managed to lose them all. But
so you're saying
no, they didn't. They were in against the Colts. They beat the Bears in 56, lost 2 straight to the Colts. Then they didn't get in 60. The Eagles did. And then 61, 62, the Packers beat them. 63, Tittle's last game, they lost to the Bears.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give myself some partial credit here, Willie, because I just looked up the 1957 Detroit Lions stats. And do you know who out of 12 games played, Tobin Rote started 5 and Bobby Lane started 7?
Yes, but Lane, I don't think Lane couldn't play in the championship game that year. I don't think. I think it was Tobin. Tobin Rote started that game.
Do you know who else was on that team? Their second.
They ran up the score on the Browns from the previous year when Otto Graham was playing, when they had ran it up on them.
Do you know who else was on that team at running back? Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah, they had Cassidy. I'm thinking they might have. Joe Schmidt was their all-pro middle linebacker. I know.
Yeah.
Who their wide receivers? They had Dick Night Train Lane, I think.
Dick Night Train Lane, yes.
I didn't know if he came from the Rams to that team or not. But
all right, Willie. I could sit here and talk 1950s NFL football with you for like hours, but I don't know if everybody else wants to hear this.
Oh, no.
You got anything else for us?
I'm ready to get off the.
Okay.
I'm ready. No, that was about it, Mark. I just wanted to know if you knew about the transfer portal, and
I did not.
Looking forward to seeing. I saw you were taking the contest or the ratings about what the Patriots wanted in their thing.
Yes.
And then you were going to set up something. I don't know. I voted in it.
We're going to do a live stream. We're going to do a live stream on Patreon here. So since you're a new member, we can do a little live stream, and we're going to do that in the next few days as soon as I know when people can be there.
Well, I'm on 24/7. I can do it. Unless you do it before 12 o'clock, because I'm usually sleeping until noon.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to do that. No.
Good. Well, who are you picking tomorrow in the games?
Well, I want the Buccaneers to lose. That's all I can say. I just want the Buccaneers to lose. The other game, I really don't care. I guess I'm kind of sick of the Chiefs, too. They've won enough. So,
yeah, I think the Bengals might have a better chance against Buffalo. Buffalo can be kind of inconsistent, and the Chiefs just played the Bengals, so they got a case for the Bengals. So I doubt if they let that Chase go for 260 yards and play man-on-man on him the whole game. So I'm hoping the Buffalo win tomorrow. Hoping the San Francisco win next week, because Bengals in San Francisco in the Super Bowl, and I personally think, and the Super Bowl's wide open now. Anybody can win it. That's how I look at it. They said in the ratings that the Tennessee was the worst number 1 seed since the '83 Raiders. The '83 Raiders, I think that might have been a year where they had a special ranking for the playoffs, because they might have had replacement players part of that year.
Oh, the 82. Yeah, 82 into the 83 playoffs. Yeah.
Right.
That Raiders team went 8-1. No, the replacement year was 87. The 82 year was a strike. They only played 9 games. The Browns made the playoffs. They were 4-5 that year. That's the first time a sub 500 team made the playoffs in the NFL. But they expanded the playoffs.
They took 8 teams that year, didn't they?
Yeah, they took 8 teams. They expanded it, and they only played 9 games. And that's the year the Redskins won the Super Bowl against the Dolphins. But the Raiders were the number 1 seed at 8-1 that year. But the replacement player year was 87, when they played 3 games with replacement players.
Well, then when your Miami Dolphins were undefeated, the Browns' Bear Hooker caught a touchdown pass the fourth quarter, and they got the lead and could have gave the Dolphins their only loss in the undefeated season.
Yep.
But we couldn't hold on to it, and everything went downhill from then.
Yeah.
But I'll get off here now, Mark, because I know there's people waiting. But thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you on your next live show.
Thank you so much, Willie. Have a good night. All right, before we get to our next call, gotta get to this comment from Kyle Pickett. Kyle, thank you so much for the contribution. Appreciate that. You have paid for my first half hour. Kyle says on the Super Chat comment here, wife, quote, "You're watching that show. I know the voice." Me, yeah, it's the voice of college football. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. All right. If I missed anything, boy, I love going through NFL history and college football history. The real MVP. Yes, Willie's a great caller. All right. On to our next call here at the Voice of College Football on a Saturday night. Welcome in. Who's on the line?
Hey, Mark, it's the real MVP. How you doing?
It sure is. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. There's some great games today, some NFL games. Whew. I'm telling you what, it felt like Aaron Rodgers last time leaving Lambeau. I'm not sure if he's going to retire. I'm not sure if he's going to be a Bronco. But that was disappointing if you're a Packer fan. And you know what's more disappointing, Mark?
What's that?
Is at the final field goal after the timeout, they only had 10 men out there.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, it's kind of hard to block or get pressure on it when you got one less guy, regardless of the level of play. So, Packers might want to work on that this offseason. But to move into some actual college football, why hasn't Caleb Williams made a decision yet?
Oh, we've had that conversation. I don't know. I don't know, because to me, the timeline has gone this way. Lincoln Riley leaves Oklahoma, goes to USC. Of course, Caleb Williams is the player that he recruited, built a relationship with, signed, gave the starting job to, and completed the season, had a great season for the most part. 21 touchdowns, 4 picks. Okay. Lincoln Riley goes to USC. Caleb Williams enters the transfer portal, makes the statement, I want to be with a coach who can, and a coaching staff in a situation that can develop me and get me in the best position to go to the NFL. And I read that as not a knock against Brent Venables, but that, of course, Brent Venables, defensive guy, that Caleb Williams was looking for a different situation. And conventional wisdom was he's going to follow Riley to USC. And then it was also discovered, and I don't even think this is conjecture, this was stated by one of the two, if not both, that Mario Williams, the Oklahoma receiver who was a freshman last year, second on the team in catches, a top recruit the year before, was going to go wherever Caleb Williams went. And Mario Williams, he made his decision about 5 days ago to go to USC. He signed with USC about 5 days ago. So now we're still waiting on Caleb Williams. I don't know.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me, I'm not sure how much NBA. A few years ago, Kawhi Leonard was out there on the market, and he took like 4 months to make a decision and just kind of sat there in the air. It kind of gives me that feeling. It doesn't make any sense to me, because you would get in the system earlier. You would get familiar with the environment. I don't see if he's going to that location for sure, why he would wait. Now, unless he's planning on going to another school like Ole Miss or just some other school that needs a quarterback, I would get the wait. But I haven't heard anything about him potentially flipping from USC or anything like that.
So I've got two theories to throw at you, and one is courtesy Robert. I just posted his comment, who's saying money. Maybe there was some kind of holdup with NIL or another NIL deal out there that caught his attention. Or we also heard, and this is again not just hearsay or is not just conjecture, but this was stated somewhere and documented, like on social media. Maybe he was set to go to USC, but he visited there. It was about 2 weekends ago. And either he put it in social media, or I guess this is pretty well confirmed, that he said he had an awful trip. He didn't like it.
Well, but it's kind of weird. You haven't heard anything from either of those theories in the public. Like, you haven't heard, oh, this trip is awful, and here's another school he plans on visiting. There's just been no update. And that's the part that perplexes me. Because especially with how everything's leaked nowadays and stuff, it's odd to me.
Well, he's got time. So.
Well, I know, but USC, I think their classes started like in 5 days. So he's only got like 5 days. What is today? The 23rd? I think 28th is the last day for you to enroll in USC if you want to go to college there. So he doesn't have like 4 months.
I don't know if there's some kind of grace
to make
period.
A decision. Well,
yeah, I
don't
know.
understand why you would want to risk it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
And shifting gears to another topic here is, if you had to choose a team that hasn't made the playoffs before but will make it this year, who would that team be and why?
This year, that would
This
be
year.
Give me a second. That would be I'm torn between. I'm going to go with. I like one team over the other, but I like the other team's situation in regards to being in a much easier conference. So I like, as a team, Texas A&M more so than Miami. But Miami's got such a cakewalk in that division. It's why they can't win more games. We'll see what Mario Cristobal can do now. But those are the two that come to mind. I don't think this is going to be a vintage Wisconsin year, or I'd put them on the map. And I think Penn State just has a ways to go and too many barriers in front of them. So that's where I'm at, unless I'm missing someone.
I'm shocked the Big 12 team was not mentioned by you.
Well, if this would have been this time last year, I would have said Oklahoma State. So I thought of them, but I just think they're losing too much. But that conference is up for grabs, but they're going to have to go 12-1 and win the conference. And 12-1's a pretty big ask.
That's fair. And this may be too early, Mark, to project, but I'm going to go potential dark horse to make the playoffs. And I'm eating dark horse, okay?
Love it.
Off the radar.
Give it to us.
BYU.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's look at their schedule, shall we?
Yeah, shall
Have you done that? Have you looked at the schedule?
Why?
I
have a rough idea, but it's January.
Why BYU? people understand I released my way too early top 25. I did not look at schedules. It has nothing to do with schedules. I'm not predicting the top 25 for the season. I'm not looking at schedules. Those are your 25 best teams in America. That's what I was given there. All right. Just thought I'd throw that out because I always have to say that. Okay. They got the Mighty Bulls of South Florida to start the season. They've got Baylor. Now, this time they've got them at home. Then they go to Oregon. So for BYU to make the playoff, they need a tough schedule. They need a tough enough schedule to prove that they belong. But it can't be too tough, of course, because it's going to trip them up.
Right.
They probably have to go undefeated. You realize that?
Well, with this schedule, I think it meets all the criteria you're stating.
Baylor, at Oregon. Later, they go to Notre Dame. They're playing Notre Dame in Las Vegas. How about that? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They follow up the Notre Dame game with a game against Arkansas, but they're at home against Arkansas. And then Boise State on the road later. Those are the games that, there's few other teams that are decent teams like Utah State. But if we're talking about a playoff, then if they can't beat Utah State, then forget it. So those are the 5 games. What's that? 4 games. Yeah. Baylor, Oregon, Notre Dame, Arkansas. That's an interesting schedule.
I think it's good enough if they go undefeated.
Oh, they
would
should.
make the playoff.
They should. With that schedule.
I think it's possible.
This schedule is much better.
For them to go.
This schedule is a lot harder than Cincinnati's schedule this past year.
Right.
Because everybody else
I'm not
is
sure
decent
about you, Mark.
on the schedule. Liberty, East Carolina, Boise State, Utah State, Stanford. But look at this. One other thing before I let you take off on this. Their second to last game of the season is against something called the Dixie State Trailblazers. That's their second to last game of the season. Dixie State. Can somebody help us out? Where is that? Somewhere in Dixie, I assume.
It looks like St. George, Utah, based on clicking on the schedule.
Utah? It's in Utah?
That's where most of their games are being played at home. So I'm assuming.
Well, that's where it's played.
No
Where's
idea.
Dixie State? Dixie, you're telling me?
No, that's where a majority of their games are played.
Okay. Just with that name, Dixie State, Dixie, that's like, I wish I were in Dixie. I thought it was in the South. Okay. That is funny. I've never even heard of that place. And they're going to be playing the 10-0 BYU Cougars, who are going to be like number 4 in the country, 10-0 at that point. Fascinating.
And it is. It's a very fascinating thing to look at BYU's schedule because once Power 5 conference play starts, they don't have anybody to play. So their schedule is usually front-loaded.
Yes.
But, I mean, if you look, I know they lost the UAB in the bowl game, and that was embarrassing for them. But if you look at their schedule, everybody thought they would take a tremendous drop-off because of how bad or how much talent they were losing. With their most significant piece they were losing being Zach Wilson, okay? Well, they didn't get blown out in any of their regular season losses. They lost to the Big 12 champions at Baylor by 14 points. That's a respectable. They beat everybody else. They dominated the Pac-12. I mean, they probably could be Pac-12 champions if they were in that conference. Or they're at least Pac-12 South champions for 2021 because they went 5-0. And with them returning all their talent, they got a good head coach. I don't see why they can't get hot and go on a run.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. We're talking
And-
about a roster that just lost to UAB.
Well, I said dark horse for a reason, Mark. Okay,
Yeah.
it needed to be a little bit out there. I can't say Notre Dame or Alabama and claim it's a dark horse. I needed to go out there a little bit. Okay.
I like it.
So the final thing I'd like to say, Mark, I'm not sure if you know this, but your Alabama football channel hit 1,000 subscribers today. So I thought I'd give you a congratulations.
Well, I appreciate that. We were aware of that. I had somebody text me actually that information. So I then went to Twitter and talked it up a little bit. We appreciate everyone who helped us get our Alabama channel to 1,000. Next up, Notre Dame. I think we're around 870, somewhere in that range.
Well, Mark, have a good rest of your stream.
All right, the real MVP. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
Here we go. Thanks for calling the voice of college football. Who's on the line?
Hey, Mark, it's Michael. How you doing, sir?
Michael, how are you?
Not too bad. Just waiting for the snow to fall here in a little bit. Hey, I got a question. You and Willie was talking about Tobin Road, right?
Tobin wrote, yes.
I was looking him up on Wikipedia, and he said, what was it, Detroit and Cleveland that he won the NFL and the AFL championships with?
Detroit and San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what I was looking up. But you were talking about another quarterback that had some success and stuff like that. And he didn't get to the Super Bowl in the NFL, but I believe he did get to a couple of AFC championships. And that was Warren Moon. I mean, he's pretty successful in the CFL, though.
Yeah. So I was starting the comments off the top of the show. My little opening was a very short list, Michael, of highly successful college quarterbacks who won the Super Bowl their first postseason in the NFL. I'm only coming up with Tom Brady, Rodgers Staubach, Jim Plunkett, Joe Montana. That's it.
How was it? Okay, I got to ask you this. How was it Brady's first season when he drafted in 2000?
In their first postseason.
Oh, okay. First, I see what you're saying. And then first postseason, I'm trying to think, who did Montana take over when he was with the 49ers?
Who did he take over for?
Yeah, was it Craig Morton?
It was Steve DeBerg.
Okay. I thought Morton was with the Broncos.
Yes, he was with the Broncos.
I know he played for the 49ers.
No. Craig Morton started his career with the Dallas Cowboys. He played in the Super Bowl, Super Bowl V. And then he went to the Giants, and then he went to the Broncos and played against the Cowboys in the 78 Super Bowl.
No, it was John Brody who I was thinking of.
Yes,
not Craig Morton.
John Brody. Yep.
That's who it was. All right. I was just wondering stuff like that. But no, because I was thinking, because I'm trying to think 2000, 2001, the Colts were still in the AFC East then.
Yep.
But I'm trying to think the New England, but see, technically though, can you say it's kind of Brady's first postseason though? Well, yeah, I guess you can because Bledsoe did play most of the year until he got hurt though. So I guess you could go either way, I guess, huh?
No, it was his first postseason. Tom Brady's first year in the NFL was the year 2000, and Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback, and New England did not go to the playoffs. And then in 2001, Tom Brady became the starter when Bledsoe got hurt, and they won the Super Bowl. In his first postseason, they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah. I was kind of hoping Moon could have got to the Super Bowl because I think he would have been the only one with the one both the Grey Cup and the Super Bowl, I think.
Absolutely.
Wasn't there? Because I know Flutie won several Grey Cups, but he never did get to the Super Bowl either, though.
Yep. Yeah, who knows if Warren Moon certainly let's see. They had the year where they lost to the Bills when they were up 35-3 in that Frank Reich comeback in the 93 AFC Championship game, and they blew a lead against Denver in, I believe, 89, like 21-6. And they had some really good teams. They lost to the Chiefs one year in Joe Montana's first year with the Chiefs, where they were the number 1 seed.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had some great years in Houston.
Mhm. Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, Kelly didn't start when he got drafted by the Bills at 83. No, because he was with was it the Houston Gamblers in the USFL?
Yes.
But did he take him to the USFL championship? And the same thing was.
I don't know. I did watch the USFL. I loved watching it, but I don't like really remember USFL championships per se. But the interesting thing about Kelly was he came out of college. He didn't want to play in Buffalo. He tells the story now, or has throughout the years, of how he just didn't want to go from Miami to Buffalo and play in the bad weather, and just didn't want to go there, which turned out for him to be the best thing that could have happened to him. But the Buffalo Bills, they retained his rights that entire time. So they just kept his rights while he was in the USFL.
And I'm trying to remember, did Steve Young get drafted by Tampa Bay in the NFL but played in the USFL first?
Doug Williams. Did you say Doug Williams?
No, Steve Young.
Oh, Steve Young. Yeah. Steve Young got, he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think, let's see. His last year in BYU was 83. Then he went to the Los Angeles Express, USFL 84. He was there about 2 to 3 years. And then he went to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And
but his first playoff.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, since I brought up Doug Williams went the other way. He was drafted by Tampa Bay and left and went to the USFL, and then came back to the NFL, and of course won a Super Bowl with the Redskins.
When did Williams leave Tampa to go to the USFL? I don't remember. I'm not telling you, I just don't remember it.
When did who?
Doug Williams.
About 1984, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could look it up right now, but yeah, he took Tampa Bay to the NFC Championship game in '79, and I know he was still there in '82. They played in the playoffs in '82. I think it was about 2 years after that he went to. Shoot, I want to say that I'll have to look it up. I want to say he played for the Houston Gamblers, but I don't think he was there at the same time as Jim Kelly. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he was with the Oklahoma Outlaws in '84 and Arizona Bandits in '85.
There you go. The Oklahoma Outlaws and the Bandits. Did you say the Bandits?
Yep.
Tampa Bay Bandits?
No, the Arizona Bandits.
Oh, they must have moved. They started out as the Tampa Bay Bandits. Maybe they moved after a year. Okay, Doug Williams, and then he was back with the Redskins in '86 or '7.
Yeah, because I think Bobby Airbear was with the Michigan Panthers.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, he was with Anthony Carter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was trying to remember, where did he actually go to Michigan? I mean, where did he go to college?
Bobby Abear?
Yeah.
Didn't he go to one of the directional Louisiana schools, I think?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to give it a look here because I think he went to like Southeast Louisiana or Northwest, one of those. Let's see here.
Northwestern State University.
Yeah. Okay. Which is in Louisiana, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I was wondering because USFL was fun back then too. But I think, and I'm not sure if you kind of agree with this, but do you think when they tried to go to a fall schedule to match up with the NFL, which was back in what, 87, I think it was, is what doomed the USFL?
Yeah, I really didn't understand that because people love football, and certainly they weren't going to unseat the NFL. The NFL was in a strong position, and things were working out in the spring. So I don't know. I just know that
Yeah.
it made more business sense, at least thinking about it 40 years later, 35 years later, that they should have been playing in the spring.
Yeah, and they was pretty successful in the spring too.
Yeah,
I think. But I
they
wonder
were.
how. But I wonder how good it's gonna. I wonder how good it's gonna be when it starts back up here in a couple months. It's gonna be like the XFL was one season, 1 year successful, and then fall on bad terms.
All right. Anything else, Michael?
No, I was just asking about the USFL. Do you think it'll be successful if they, or do you think it'll be like a one and done?
The XFL?
No, I mean USFL. Excuse me.
What about it?
Do you think it'll be successful if they don't, or do you think it'll be like a one and done? You think?
Why is there another USFL starting?
Yeah, they're supposed to be starting coming up here soon.
Oh, I was unaware of that. In the spring?
Yep, it's supposed to start on April 16th.
Well, either I'm living under a rock or they haven't done a good job of promoting their league. The USFL, this is going to start in the spring. Okay.
And ironically, they're bringing back some of the same name teams, like it's an 8-team league, and they're bringing back the original, like teams and stuff.
I'm looking at it right now.
And this time,
now that's a smart move.
It's going to be back in
for nostalgia reasons. Yeah, I see the Stallions and the Stars. Yeah, the Baltimore Stars. They had Kelvin Bryant. Yes, the New Jersey Generals, of course.
I don't remember the Pittsburgh Maulers though.
You don't remember who?
I remember the other team.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Maulers. That is a name from, I'm losing it. Somebody's going to be able to pick me up in the chat on this one. The Pittsburgh Maulers is a name of a, maybe they were an addition later to the USFL, or maybe that's anyway, somebody's going to know. But yeah, the rest of those names are directly from the USFL.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't, like I said, with the New Orleans team and stuff, I don't remember that too. But oh well. Anyway, just want to reminisce with you, Mark. Thanks for taking my call, and have a great rest of your stream, man.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Take care. See ya.
So I wonder where people are going to be able to watch the USFL. Have they signed a TV contract? Not that you need to in this day and age, but okay. 2 more head coaches revealed. This came out 2 days ago. I didn't know anything about this. Skip Holtz, okay, and Kirby Wilson. I don't know who that is. Kirby Wilson is going to be the head coach of the Maulers of Pittsburgh, and Skip Holtz, of course, who was the East Carolina head coach, or Tulane head coach, Birmingham Stallions. Okay. There you go. Will I be watching? Maybe. Pizza Woman says Fox will broadcast some of the games. I kind of guessed that as soon as I pulled it up here and Colin Cowherd was talking about it. I figured, well, if they are exclusively unveiling 2 of the USFL's new head coaches on Cowherd's program, then there you go. Matt B., appreciate you being here. Go Michigan Panthers. Bobby Hebert for Heisman. Very cool. Thanks, Matt. Thank you so much. King Mac, has any other quarterback been sacked 9 times and won a playoff game? The young man is going to be a great one. Well, I believe that 9 sacks is a postseason record. So the answer would be no, because nobody's ever been sacked 9 times in a postseason game, according to what I heard. Troy V, best question ever asked by a reporter to Doug Williams, and I think I know what's coming. The reporter asked, how long have you been a black quarterback? Yes, his answer was better. He said, I was a quarterback since high school and black all my life. Yeah, so sometimes I can sympathize with a reporter asking a dumb question or saying something that they mean something, but what's coming out of their mouth is something different. So I've been there. Never did ask that question, but I've been there. Yeah, I remember that one. Kyle says, Mark, watch the state of Florida own the NIL. Bitcoin money moving into schools here. I was watching a stock live stream today for about 10 or 15 minutes. And yes, the cryptocurrency market's going the way of the stock market, which has battered me in the last 6 months. So we're going to have to just wait and hold and wait for it to come back. My goodness, it's been brutal. Boomer, hi, good to see you. Eddie's asking about Warren Moon deserving NFL Hall of Fame. That would be Pro Football Hall of Fame, technically. Or is he in? Isn't Warren Moon in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he? Yes. Yes, Warren Moon's in the Hall of Fame. Let's verify. Yes, 2006. Yes, he's there. Marine76, thank you so much for liking. Everyone that's watching, please like the video, even if you don't agree with me and my analysis. If you enjoy what we do here at the Voice of College Football, please subscribe, hit that like button to know when we go live. I really want to set a weekly schedule that is the same every week. Let's say, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nights at 7 or whatever. But man, I just find it kind of difficult. First and foremost, I've got 9 other live streams to deal with. We've got 2 Miami live streams each week, Iowa, Nebraska, Michigan, Ohio State, Oklahoma, West Virginia now. That by the time I get through all those and recording all day, it's kind of difficult for me to set a schedule, but I know that would help us considerably because you guys don't know when I'm going to be here. And I got to feel fortunate that we've got 109 people on the line. I try to at least give a few hours heads up. Yes, Tom. Warren Moon played at the University of Washington, beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl in 1977. Matt B is telling me you need some Michigan State representation. Are we talking about back here? So I'm going to get you. I can post. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see if I can find it. We've got. If you'd like to send me a helmet, send it to Mark Rogers. 15 South Main Street. That should be, I'm sorry, South Main Street. Shoot. There we go. Send it right to me. Mark Rogers, 15 South Main Street, number 1007, 1007, beautiful Torrington, Connecticut. A neighboring town here, 06790. 06790, 15 South Main Street. If you would like to send me a helmet or cash, although you shouldn't really mail cash, but you can give it a shot. Said Irish Mark, are you going to go to the Notre Dame Ohio State game in September? No, I will not go to the Ohio State Notre Dame game. Yes, some anthrax would be good. I think I'll be having them open it though at the UPS first. We'll have that done first and foremost. Yes, Steve Spurrier at Tampa Bay with the Bandits. Yeah, so Colin would like me to head on over to Ireland with Greg. You know, that's a possibility. We head on over to Ireland for the Nebraska Northwestern opener, because that's week 0. So we did that a few years ago. How many people were with me in 2019? First week of the season, week 0. And it wasn't the typical fare of all the group of fives and the Mountain West teams that play in week 0. It was a legit ranked matchup between Florida and Miami in Orlando. So I decided to head on down there. And we reported from Orlando that week. Had a good time. I shouldn't say that week. We got there about a day before the game. So we were there Friday through Sunday. But it was a good time. So Matt's saying, I'll send you the helmet, but you need a weekly show for Michigan State like other schools. So probably to add any other shows, because we are loaded down with shows. First, we would need a channel for that particular team. Secondly, we would either need a sponsor, or there would have to be some kind of overwhelming reason, incentive from a business standpoint, Matt. So if you can provide some of those things, then we can get you Michigan State's show. I would love to do a Michigan State show each week. Michigan State Spartans Live, number 1. Let's get that baby rolling. Let's get it out there. So get us a sponsor, and we can make that happen. Ooh, Rob says, on the other hand, nobody cares about Michigan State. Got a call coming in, so let's get right to it here at the Voice of College Football. Who's on the line? Hello? Going once? Going twice? Hello? Yes.
Hello?
Yes, this is Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Who's on the line?
Hey, Mark. This is, again, I'm sorry. This is Davey.
Hi, Dave.
Look, this Michael Hogg dude has put me in timeout so many times. It's unbearable. I put Roll Tide, and then I put something. I don't know what he's banning me for. He's done it 2-3 times now. I don't know. I don't know what I can do now. I may leave this channel, but because Michael Hall, whoever he is, has timed me out so many times I can't even comment.
So, Dave, you're telling me that all you've wrote in the live chat is "Go Tide," "Roll Tide."
Yeah. And a couple of times I did talk about, because people talked about the stock market, and I talked about the Russian invasion to crash the stock market. I said that twice. But put Roll Tide, the last thing, and he timed me out. So I don't know. He has something against me. I don't know what it is.
Okay, Dave.
He is the one timing me out.
So I'm going to say this because I see Michael's comment here in the live chat. He is telling us that he did not time you out. So I'm going to take his word for that. I don't know what happened.
Oh, well, he timed me out before. I think he timed me out again. So I'm saying, Mark, and I'll just go to another channel that every freaking time I go to this channel, I'm timed out. I don't know why. I can hopefully talk about when someone responds about world events or and anything else I can comment on, but I'm timed out every time. I don't know if I think it. I don't know. Somebody's timing me out, and your mods are just stepping over the line.
Well, see, David, I don't know of any other times though that they have timed people out inappropriately, where they've done that to anyone. I don't know of any other times when we've received any complaints from anyone of them timing anyone out needlessly. So I don't know why why would they be picking on you?
I can assure you, Mark, they timing me out for illegal reasons. I just don't know. Last thing I thought was Roll Tide, and I'm timed out. If I can't tap Roll Tide, so what else? That's so innocuous to type Roll Tide.
So Exploring with Ben is telling us, he says, yeah, something weird is going on because I have a problem allowing messages. Then it says it got handled or timed out. It's weird. Don't know if this is a system thing or what.
Okay. If it's a system thing, I can understand. But I right now I can't even. Okay, there it goes. Roll Tide. Don't type it out. Matt. Cheryl, whoever's the mod. Don't time me out, man. I don't type anything political. I don't.
So you just
bad against anybody. One of your mods has something against me.
Okay.
It types me out
Dave,
every freaking time.
I don't know that for sure here, Dave. Now, Michael said that he did not time you out. You just put up Roll Tide. I've got it on the screen. So I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. Mr. Hogg has timed me out before. Ask him that. Has he timed me out before? Yeah. Other mods may have jumped in. Mr. Hogg has timed me out before. For nothing other, I don't really do political speech. I don't do anything.
So you
anybody.
didn't say
I don't
anything
say
of a
anything
political nature.
racist or anything.
You didn't do
Right.
anything like
Nothing
that.
racist, nothing. No, but that keeps coming out, Mark. This is the third time I come on your channel, and they time me out the last 3 times.
Dave, be patient with me. Be patient with me. Dave, hang on just a second. Dave, hang on just a second. I'm going to ask you something that you just answered, but I just want to clarify just for sure.
Yes, sir.
You didn't make any political statements.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. What else did you have? What did you want to talk about?
I don't know. Somebody timed me out, Mark, just now. I don't know who. I don't know why. You can answer those questions, who and why. I don't know who and why, Mark. This is the third time I come to your channel, someone's timed me out. And it's innocuous stuff, Mark. At best, innocuous. Mr. Hogg doesn't like me. I don't know why. Maybe he can better address that question. Maybe he can call in and address that question.
All right. Well, we're going to hear from Michael because he may be able to clarify things. I'm here hosting a show. I only go by what I can see in the chat. So I certainly believe that we've got our mods are quality and they've never overstepped their bounds. And the only thing I've instructed them to do is to definitely look out for those things. Look out for those things that are, of a racial bent or political,
right.
And that's pretty much it, or attacking somebody in some way.
Exactly, Mark. Who can step out tonight and who timed me out tonight? If you can answer those 2 questions. Who timed me out tonight? I don't know, and I don't know why. Nothing I posted, nothing ever I posted approaches those boundaries, Mark. Nothing. I want to talk football. This is a football channel. I want to talk it, but these mods time me out. And every time, 3 times in a row, 3 strikes, and I'm out, I guess.
Dave, we hope that you come back. We hope that you're here, and we hope we get this resolved. But just, to be clear, just make sure that you're just talking football.
I
all right.
Mr. Hogg is trying to time me.
Okay, Dave.
Hogg is trying to time me out.
Do you have any questions for
Mr.
me?
Hogg
Any comments to make here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. Mr. Hogg is trying to comment that I said, because somebody else had posted earlier, but about the stock market, and I'm just saying a Russian invasion may cause the stock market to crash. I posted it twice. Now, Mr. Hogg is saying that's the reason I was banned. Mr. Hogg said that was the reason I was banned. But I can't post that to a response to another issue. I don't know why.
Okay.
That is
Dave,
not
let me explain something to you.
Person.
Dave, allow me to explain something to you. So the comment that you made seems rather harmless, okay, on the surface. Yes.
Yes,
I made a comment about the stock market, and then you responded by saying, there might be Russian intervention, etc. But you know what that does?
Sir.
Do you know what that does, Dave? Is your comment is isolated. Your comment to you is isolated in a vacuum, and it's not offensive. It's not a big deal. But you know what people are going to do? People are then going to start responding. And it's going to, I've seen this happen many times. It's going to snowball into, and then other people's responses are going to be more severe. And then they're going to start attacking political people and And I've seen that happen a number of times where it started with just somebody making some fairly harmless political type comment, and then it snowballs because people just want to respond or get offended or whatever the case might be. So that's what happens.
I agree. But to ban me out, no one is stepping up to say who banned me out. And it's innocuous. I responded to your comment actually, and then it's what it is, Mark. If the Russians want to invade Ukraine and the stock market crashes, that big deal for somebody or nobody. But that's not an attack against anybody.
Dave, I just explained to you what happens when those type of comments are made, and you agreed with me.
Yes, sir. I agree with you, but why ban me out?
All right. We will let those people, we will let our mods know, just to let you know, okay, let's back off on taking the conversation in that direction. Because again, if your comment was made and left alone and that was the end of it, I find it harmless. But that doesn't happen. That is not my experience. All right, Dave, I think we've hit the end of this this conversation.
Okay.
So do you have anything else for me?
I agree with you. Yes, sir. This is a football channel. We need to stick to football, call it football. But let's don't engage in the political and our religious conversations, and we'd be better off. But your mods are too quick on the handle to ban somebody or time out somebody.
Dave,
and
you made your statement. I allowed you to make your statement, and you made it over and over and over. And then I just said, we're putting that aside. Do you have anything else to say concerning football? And you're just repeating the same thing over and over and over. We got it.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's exactly what happened. I let you have your say.
No.
I tried to explain to you what was going on and why there was action taken. And then I said, okay, that's the explanation. Do you have anything else to say? And I've let you repeat this like 4 times. And now we're done repeating it. We're not going to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over. And then I asked you, do you have any other conversation to have, like a question or a comment for me? And you said, yeah. And then you start repeating the same thing over and over and over and over. Okay,
Mark. That is a non-response. Okay, that's non-response. I'm just saying that your mods are too quick on the handle. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, you've said that about 42 times. I know.
No, you. Mark, this is why it's frustrating on this channel because someone gets banned for nothing.
Well, you haven't been banned.
Okay, timed out for nothing. How about that?
Okay, we resolved that. I explained it. That conversation is over. Do you have anything else?
Agreed.
Do you have anything else to say? Joe Burrow. Yes. Okay, Joe Burrow. What about Joe Burrow?
Okay. He won a national championship, and he's got the 8. Okay, I'll put my hand on my head too, but he won. He's going to get into the AFC championship game, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, what and that's what your headline says, right?
Well, I was basically opening it up by saying, let's go through some examples of great college quarterbacks who instantly went into the NFL. And I know that his first season in the NFL was, of course, last year, but who immediately had success in the postseason as NFL quarterbacks.
Right, second year. You're right. You're right. You know, and it's really fortunate that they got Mr. Chase as a wide receiver too. So I'm very familiar with those LSU players. So you know, God bless Joe Burrow, but whoever wins the other game, it will be a great game.
I hope so.
You know, if he plays Kansas City, that will be a tough game. He plays Buffalo, that'll be a tough game, right?
I think so.
I'm just you asked me to develop other questions, so that I'm thinking either of those two games will be a tough game.
Probably. Again, I hope so. I just want to see good football. I don't really have a rooting interest at this point.
I don't either, but I think Joe Burrow, I hope he gets into the Super Bowl and wins it, but it's going to be a tough path either way.
For sure.
You know, for sure. How about the other game, which I think is much more interesting? Aaron Rodgers going down, you know, to the 49ers. I mean, that's going to be the top of football. You know, Aaron Rodgers losing to the 49ers.
Yeah, he's lost to him 4 times now, and we'll see if he's going to stay in Green Bay.
Right. You know, the rumors are he's going to land somewhere else. You know, I don't know where. He's through with Green Bay. Rodgers is through with Green Bay.
Kind of looks that way since he made
that
that decision last year and then decided to come back. All right, Dave. Well, we appreciate you being here. You have a good night.
Okay, Mark. I know you want to cut this conversation off. You cut me off before, cut me off again. Good
Dave,
night.
Dave, you've been on for 10 minutes. Dave's telling me I'm cutting off the conversation. He's been on for 10 minutes. Dave, call another show and see if you get 10 minutes of time. Call another show and say, and if you wouldn't have repeated yourself about 47 times, then you would have had more time to talk about other things. So you got your statement out about what you wanted to get across. I took your side into account. I also took the other side into account. I let you know what the deal was going forward and why I could understand that you were okay with and should be okay with your comment, but why it fuels other things. I went through the explanation, but then you continue to ramble on about it over and over and over. Yes, I cut you off after 10 minutes. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Who's on the line?
What's up, Marcus? DeAndre, how you doing?
DeAndre, how you doing? I just want to warn you, DeAndre, I might cut you off after 10 minutes.
You know, you cut me off at 2 minutes. I don't know why you so offended.
I'm just kidding. Dave got offended because I only let him on here for 10 minutes. All right. What's going on, man?
Now, hey, man, how bad does Nebraska feel after letting somebody like Joe Burrow go?
Yeah.
Isn't that where he always wanted to go in Nebraska?
He wanted to go to Nebraska. Yeah, they were too good for him,
right.
I guess.
Yeah. You know what interests me, Bart, though? I look at somebody like Tate Martell, who transferred from Ohio State to Miami, then I think the UNLV. He didn't even start there. Even Hunter Johnson, It's like, how could all these people who studied these quarterbacks get it so wrong? I mean, Hunter Johnson at Northwestern, huh?
I don't know necessarily with Hunter Johnson. I saw him 4 or 5 times probably at Northwestern, and I really didn't. I didn't think he had enough of a chance. The offensive line and the playmakers were so bad against the competition they had. But Tate Martell, as soon as I saw him throw the ball 3 or 4 times, I thought, this guy's not a 5-star quarterback. Like, he can't throw the ball well. Like, the ball doesn't come out of his hand well.
Right. It just amazes to me that, that this guy is just, whew, was so hyped up. I don't, Thompson, the guy at UCLA, I think they both were there at the same time. Did he start over Thompson, or Thompson started over him? I don't know how that went.
Who was at UCLA at the same time?
I think wasn't Darnell Thompson. Didn't both of them come out of the same high school?
Oh, yes, they did. Yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Yep, DTR.
Yeah.
I don't know who started.
Yeah. I would like to know what kind of schedule we're playing. Cause I know Thompson, I don't know if he's about to be out of UCLA or not, but I mean, it doesn't look like his career is going to end up any good either. Just like Tate Martell, but at least he got on the field, and you saw flashes of somebody that could do something. I just don't know how he went so wrong with Tate Martell. So let me ask you this, Mark. I'll go back to the question that you asked. Do you think Spencer Rattler is going to make a big difference at South Carolina? The only reason why I asked that, I know Oklahoma has more talent than South Carolina does. And I know Frank Beamer's doing a good job. But do you think that he's going to make that big of a difference? Where, they done beat Georgia with terrible quarterbacks. But, Close is 7 years straight of beating South Carolina. So you think that he's going to make that big of a difference over there?
Well, I get your point, because I kind of did the same thing. I looked at South Carolina's schedule because I thought, well, Spencer Rattler's a huge upgrade at quarterback. So they, as you know, they played 4 quarterbacks. They started 4 quarterbacks this year, and none of them were that good. A graduate assistant. They started a guy in the bowl game who hadn't thrown a pass in 3 years, and they came out of it with a 7-6 record. But I looked at their schedule for next year, and I thought, even if so I think Spencer Rattler is a huge upgrade, but I think it's still going to be difficult for them to do much better than 6-6.
Yeah, because I look at it like this, and we all agree, no matter how much of an ACC homer I am, the SEC is the best conference. If you were struggling with the talent that Oklahoma has in the Big 12, how do you expect to do any better in the SEC? Where, Kentucky's good, Georgia definitely is really good, and Florida's on the come up, and, I don't know who else they play. Hey, you got Clemson at the end of the year, who's probably going to have the best defensive line again in college football. I just wonder how good he's gonna be there.
South Carolina's got Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson. Yeah, but he's still a huge upgrade. He's still a huge upgrade.
Okay, if you say so. He had a freshman come on and take his spot, he was a Heisman guy, and outside Ohio State, Oklahoma was said to have the second best receiver group, and he just really struggled there. Maybe it's because of Frank Beamer left. I don't know.
I don't know if he's really struggled, but yeah, he didn't play like a Heisman Trophy candidate. That's for sure.
Right. So, you know, I was just wondering, you know, and I think people need to look at, and I know I made this point before Jason even said it. People need to look at the offensive line of some of these teams, especially Clemson and Oklahoma. They seem like they struggled. The offensive line struggled. And I think Clemson has, you know, outside of Hunter Johnson, I think they went and got an offensive lineman out of the transfer portal to help out. But if you don't have an offensive line, there ain't much you can do. Joe Burrow just got lucky that he was going against Ryan Tannehill, and Tannehill, I think Tannehill's 0-18 when he makes a turnover. And my point is, you know, he was playing against Tannehill. I mean, Tannehill's terrible. That's why I can't understand quarterbacks getting so much respect sometimes, because if you don't have an offensive line, I don't see how you're going to win a game. I mean, that's just being honest. Sometimes I think we done had this conversation several times that I think offensive linemen I think quarterbacks are overrated because if you don't have an offensive line, there ain't nothing too much you can do.
Well, sure.
I mean,
you can say that about any position. It's a football team. They're not baseball players that come to bat by themselves. They need each other. They all need each other. You could say that about any position. If the wide receivers don't have a quarterback who can get the ball to them, then they're no good. If the running back doesn't have an offensive line, he's no good. But if you go look at, I'll give you an example of the Rams. The Rams and the Eagles, when they started paying all them quarterbacks all that money, they got terrible. I mean, and I say they're terrible now, but it's like all of a sudden Goff and Wentz wasn't what they were. And then now they got rid of them and started paying back their offensive line. Now those teams are doing better. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm just looking at it like that because I just feel like the quarterback, if you put all your money in the quarterback, I just think that you do terrible. I mean, look at my Steelers. I mean, the offensive line was terrible, but Big Ben was old. So I agree with you too, Mark. Well, yeah, I agree that the most important positional unit is the offensive line. But the most important position, I don't think there's any question. It's not even close that the quarterback is the most important single person on the field.
Well, I think in today's era, yeah, but I mean, look how Pitt won the national championship and Dorsett ran for more yards than the guy passed for, right? I mean,
come on, DeAndre, you're telling me that there is a more important position on the football field than the quarterback?
Hey, I'm going with offensive line. Hey, we just saw
No. I said a more important position. So which offensive lineman is more important than the quarterback? The left tackle? The center?
Yep.
Which one?
Yep. I'm going with all of them.
No. One. You only get to choose one. You told me that there is a more important position than quarterback on the football team.
Hey, give me the left tackle.
Okay. You think the left tackle is more important than the quarterback?
Well, Mark, I just gave you examples of teams that have won championships without having good, good quarterback. Are you saying Nick Foles was not a one-time shot? I mean, was his offensive line that good, or was he that good?
I'm not talking about the offensive line. You said that there is a more important position, one player on the team than the quarterback.
Okay. Give me a defense.
Now, come on.
Destroy somebody.
Come on, DeAndre. I think you're just taking your stand. I think you're just taking your stand. I think you're just making your stand.
I would never say that a quarter. Hey, look, this is like I would never say Ohio State is better than Clemson. Hey, you'll never hear me say that. I find all different types of ways to say somebody else more important than quarterback. I think they're overrated. I get what you're saying as a position on the field, but hey, I would always come up
You
with
understand,
somebody
both
else.
things can be true. They can be overrated, but they can still be the most important position on the field. And so both of those
Right.
can be
I mean,
true.
I got you. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but for years before Tua and who was the first quarterback they won the national championship? Alabama for years didn't care who played quarterback. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, but before what's called like Deshaun Watson, I get what you're saying. Deshaun Watson came along and look at what he did for Clemson on Taj Ward and I'm not gonna say Trevor Lawrence, but you know, but look at what they did for Clemson when they came along. I honestly believe that defense was a bigger reason why Clemson won than
So DeAndre,
you know what, Mark?
you watch the
Go ahead.
NFL. You watch the NFL. Who's
Right.
probably had, aside from the Patriots, the best record in the NFL for the last 10 or 12 years? So before you answer, I'm just going to give it to you. The Green Bay Packers. So Aaron Rodgers is the one constant on that team. They've had good offensive lines, bad offensive lines. They've had star running backs. Well, really, they haven't. They've had good running backs, okay running backs. They haven't drafted one receiver for him in the first couple rounds of the draft ever, but he's always there, and they always go like 12-4.
Okay.
And he's one of the best quarterbacks of all
They haven't
time.
won a Super Bowl. He is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but they haven't won the championship since when?
Yeah, but I'm talking about winning games. They have the best or one of the 2 or 3 best records in the NFL, and he has won a Super Bowl.
All right. But I'm still not gonna admit to it, right? I mean, Mark. But you know, I got what you're saying. I'll take your advisement. So let me point something out.
Sure.
I would like for you to do on this off season. They should do matchups between like Clemson 2019 and Joe Burrow. What was it, 2020? You should do a matchup between those teams. I just picking teams throughout the history of sports that won national championships. Because that Clemson team that won it 2019, they were really good on defense, and Joe Burrow didn't face that team. But you know that team that Tua had is obvious that Burrow is a better arm talent than Tua is. I would like for you to do a matchup with that, because that the Alabama team that Clemson beat by 28 points was also very loaded, and people called that the best team of all time at one point. So I would like to see you do a matchup, like just pick a team throughout history, like Nebraska. What was that team that blew out Florida State, beat Florida? That Tommy Frazier team versus like a Florida State in 1999. Stuff like that. I would have thrown it out there. There's national champions that would have made a very good game, and it was around the same time period. Not Clemson from 2019 versus Florida State in 1991, because they obviously were 2 different teams and 2 different types of teams at that time, or Nebraska at that time versus Clemson in 2019. So those type of matchups, I would like for you to do that over the summer. I mean, you know, give you something to talk about.
We have more than enough to talk about. we have too much to talk about. I like those kind of conversations too, and I like doing those kind of videos, like the videos I did where I was going through the different years and disputing national championships. But not
Which
tons
is
of
my idea,
people
too.
are that interested in that. So if I did one of those and it did fairly well, then we would keep doing them. But I kind of have my doubts.
Well, you could try it one time, and that would be a very good matchup. I mean, that would be one of the very best matchups that we could talk about. But like I said, I get what you're saying too, because me and you, I enjoy the heck out of it. I mean, everybody wants to talk about the latest rumors and what's going on out there, and
Yep.
Who transferring here and doing that. Yeah, I know that's what's new, but after a while, you have to have some way to say, man, to look back on history, and history teaches you a lot. Like you and Jason talked about, it's comes from really dead, and obviously as a closer fan for most of my life, I'm gonna tell you no, and I think they're gonna be bad next year. I honestly, and I know y'all, everybody might have liked the matchup, but I don't think they should have played Georgia last year because that offensive line was so much in shambles. It needed to be fixed, and everybody. I don't know if you remember our conversations, but I said it before last year. You bought the offensive line was just terrible going into next year. I don't know how different it's going to be this year, but I saw it coming. I was like, I remember I said, I can't understand why Clemson's a negative 3-point favorite here. I mean, wow. Well, last question.
Yeah.
What you think going to happen with JT Davis?
JT Daniels.
What?
Let's see. Where would be a good landing spot for him? I got to tell you, I haven't even thought about it. JT Daniels. Well, we've got who's rumored to go to Ole Miss? I'm losing it right now.
I thought Williams was going to go there.
Who's going to Ole Miss?
My hair with.
I would think Ole Miss would be a good landing spot for JT Daniels. Ole Miss. What, maybe North Carolina?
Well, now North Carolina got a quarterback, that Dole kid. He was highly recruited. They love him. I mean, let's be honest about it. JT Davis got beat by 2 walk-ons twice. And I'm saying that. I mean, I still don't see how that happens, but I mean, because of injury, he got beat out by 2 other quarterbacks twice that were considered to be walk-ons. And I'm not saying that he's a bad quarterback, but that says something about your rating as a quarterback. I mean, I don't know if he just got it or not. Tom Brady, sat on the bench for 6 years at Michigan. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark.
Well, George is bringing up JT Daniels to Florida State, and we talked about that on our Florida State show this week. And those Florida State guys wanted no part of JT Daniels, but he would be an upgrade over Jordan Travis. So he could go to Florida State and start.
But that guy is more of an option type.
Well, yeah, they'd have to change the offense.
That's what I don't think they want to do because, that guy's more of a heavy run.
He's not that good, though. He's not that good, though. Do they want to win? So, I don't know. He could go to Oklahoma State and probably win the job over Spencer Sanders. He could go to Iowa and win the job.
Yeah, but those guys, I don't know if he want to go somewhere coach. I was thinking Arizona. I don't know who's down there. Not Arizona State,
they
but
just
Arizona.
got Washington State's quarterback, who was the offensive freshman of the year, Jaden DeLora.
Wow, he went from Washington State to Arizona State?
Yes.
To Arizona, I apologize. Yeah.
Yep, he
That's
did.
Crazy. Okay. All right, Mark, give me somebody else time to talk, man.
Thanks, DeAndre. You have a good night tonight. Appreciate you calling.
All right, then.
Here we go. Next up here at the Voice of College Football. Let's take these two calls. And so anybody who may be on the line, so there could be like 40 people on the line, and I only see that there are 2 other people on the line in addition to the call that I'm taking. So I see the call I'm taking, then I see 2 other calls. And so since I'm not on the line right now, I see 3 other calls, and I don't see anything past that. So we may have 3 people on the line. We could have 200 people on the line. I'm guessing it's somewhere between 3 and 200. And so, well, actually, the last person I feel bad because they just dropped off the line because they heard me say that we're only taking 2 more calls, but I would have taken their call anyway. We will take these last 2 calls here at the Voice of College Football, and as we have posted a number of times through the night. Well, let me pick up this super chat. Appreciate that coming in from our Spaghetti Factory folks there. Make Dave Ahmad, Dave E. Ahmad. Oh my goodness, would we have a battle? All right. Well, Dave and I can talk about that at some point. All right. Yeah, John, it could be 632 people, even though we've only got 107 watching. You guys are the hardcore college football folks that we get because, man, we were, 500-600 people here at the end of the college football season, but we got to kind of start over with the off season here. So let's get these 2 calls here at the Voice of College Football. But Spaghetti Factory, thank you so much for the contribution. And somebody wants me to stay on. Rob wants me to stay on a while. I appreciate that, but it's been 2 hours and 9 minutes. And yeah, and I got work to do. Dave says, make me a mod. Make this channel great again. Make this channel great again. That sounds like an amazing slogan. Make this channel great. The channel's never stopped being great, Dave. Come on. That would be a great slogan. I feel as though I'd heard it somewhere else before, but it would be a great slogan. But we don't like to lie to the folks. We'll just continue being great. All right. All in. DeAndre, thank you so much for the contribution. DeAndre, all I got to say here is DeAndre's here all the time, and even though I argued with him about offensive linemen and quarterbacks, I think he gets my point. I probably talk more about offensive linemen and try to give them more attention and more recognition than anybody I can think of. There's all sorts of times that I get in conversations with whether it's viewers or with media guests, and the offensive line's kind of discarded, and I bring up I've got what do I want to call it? Because I don't want to use this term that I hate. Pet peeve. I don't like that term. So I just have this issue with watching college and NFL games where, let's say, a team runs for 275 yards, and late in the game, they're crediting the offensive line. And they say a number of times, yeah, this offensive line's really doing the job, and they're really leaning on the other team and taking over the fourth quarter. And they never say any of their names. None of their names. That annoys me. They've said the running back's name during the course of 3.5 hours, probably 50 or 60 times at least. They never mention any of the offensive linemen's names. Tonight, when Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing away a screen pass, the play blew up. He didn't have anything there, and he dumped off the screen pass. The ball kicked up in the air. It hit the ground, but it kicked up in the air, and you could easily see from the offensive lineman, it was Compton, number 61. From his viewpoint, it looked like Garoppolo hit somebody in the heel with the ball, and the ball popped up in the air, and he caught the ball, and he just started running down the field. And Joe Buck said at least 3 times, I don't know why he's running down the field. The ball hit the dirt. Well, the ball did hit the dirt, but I could see how he was just making sure, since the ball popped up in the air, that it would not be a dead play. And it annoyed me that Joe Buck never said his name. Anyway, so we give offensive line credit here more than anybody than I know. All right. And also, as you can see, again, DeAndre's got it right here. He says this all the time, and I rarely, ever, 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 ever mention anything about money. But just keep in mind, DeAndre, he just tosses just a little bit every so often. And it's very effective because he's not missing it. I don't think I greatly appreciate it, but he's basically just saying, hey, if everybody would do that. Okay. Anyway, we'll get to our last two calls here at the Voice of College Football. Welcome in. Who's on the line?
Howdy, Mark. Hi, Mark. It's George.
George. Hey, George.
How you doing? Hey, did you get Matt B? Matt B had a super chat for $5. Did you get that one?
I got one of his. Yes, unless he has another one. I did.
He said you have the patience of a saint or something like that.
I caught up
God,
with
I
one of
had
his
it. I
super
was
chats.
saving. Okay.
Yeah, we've
I was
had
saving it, and then
yeah, we've had quite the back and forth with our guy Dave, and you know, I hate this when there's a fight in the chat, and then somebody calls me and tells me one side of the story, and then I get the other side of the story, and I'm trying to figure out what the truth is. But
yeah, it was a non-event. Really, it just took on a life of its own. It's nothing. I'm sure that guy will be. Oh my God, Kyle Pickett just did a $50 chat, super chat.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Kyle's going to give me
some. I'm not going to call tonight.
Kyle's going to give me some crypto advice here. I'm going to drag that out of him at some point.
Nice.
I think I can credit you, George. I can credit you with this super chat because Kyle's giving that only because you're here.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I said, I'm not going to call tonight. I'm tired. He said, I'll do a super chat. I said, okay, I'll call.
Well, thank you both. Thank you both.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, George?
Just right when I was watching TV, there's a show called SOS on TV nowadays. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's about people that get lost in the wilderness or just have to do survival on their own and they make it. They don't die. I've watched this like for a month. I'm afraid to ever go in the woods again or snowmobiling or outdoor activities. These are just horrendous stories. It starts out, we're just going snowmobiling, or the one on right now, she was going to go spread her husband's ashes on a mountain. Didn't even take a bottle of water. Thought she'd get back to the car in an hour, you know?
Oh, my goodness.
It's just like the most horrific shit, man. It's horrifying, what can go wrong once you get out there.
Yeah. It's amazing what people can endure, though. What they can survive.
I know, it is. It's amazing what our ancestors must have endured to get us here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine?
Yep. On my notes while I was listening to, was that Dave on the line? It wouldn't let it go. I wrote, you could have been a minister or a counselor. And there's been 20 people make this comment since then. The patience of Job.
You know what else I thought of, George?
Hey,
is there's a commercial out there
what?
where it's really a clever commercial because Apple's getting their point across that their phones are indestructible and that they can do so much, but they just show the Apple phone and they show this scene and they just play 911 calls of people that have Apple phones. And they're like,
right.
They have such good reception in the phones. There's one person who, even though they were knocked unconscious, their phone is calling for them and giving the longitude and the latitude of where they are. And, you know, it's a clever commercial. It's a very effective commercial. And there's somebody who drove their car. It's some young lady drove her car into a river or something, and she's about to drown, and she's saying the water's coming up into the car, and
all by itself.
And somebody else who fell in a well, And yeah,
The artificial intelligence is doing that on its own. It knows.
apparently there's one of
Good.
that they play about 3 or 4, and there's one where it says that since they're not, I forget why the phone activates. I don't know what kind of setting you put it on, that it can tell your movement or something. I don't know what it is, but it will just go ahead and call 911 if it detects that you might not be capable of moving or conscious.
Wow. Jason Osborne said if he gets unconscious, his phone just orders a pizza for him. So
That's what
that
I
must
would
be
like
a
right
special
now.
option. Hey, I went into my phone. I turned off all the settings. There's some shit on your phone that's monitoring your heartbeat, your respiration, your galvanic skin response. There's some bizarre stuff going on with these phones, man.
Yeah.
And that same thing that might save you, it's also screaming to the cops, he's over here when they're looking for you, so be careful.
The other thing, George, I don't know if you get hit with this, but it dawns on me sometimes when I'll be online and I'll get hit with an ad, or I'll get hit with, video suggestions, and I'll think, there's nothing that I've been doing online that has given them an indication to know that I'm interested in that. But like, I was watching that like a day ago, or I was having a conversation with somebody, but I never went online to look at that. Like, I just find it strange that I don't know how they're picking up on some signals. I don't know if these things are listening to us.
Definitely. Yeah, there's definitely, that's for sure. Positively for sure. If you sit around your house talking about Ferraris all day, you'll get an ad for a Ferrari, or Mercedes, or whatever you keep saying over and over again. It's listening. They're all listening. That's a fact. I'm not going to go there. Someone said, here comes the conspiracy stuff. Hey, listen, I want to shoot down these rumors about Kirby Smart being a Russian spy manipulating the stock market in spare time in the evening. There's no truth to that at all.
Okay.
So let's just get off that right away, guys.
Okay.
And here's a good scenario for the first game next year. Stetson starts for Georgia.
Yeah.
Oregon beats them. Imagine you'll be on the show for 6 hours, people calling in talking about that one. Huh?
Yes. Bo Nix and
Good
Oregon.
matchup. Yeah. I don't think it can happen. I'm so excited for football to start again. I can't wait. It's so long and so far away, but I want to see all these new coaches and Stetson, if he starts again. I want to see all these questions answered. How Kelly does at LSU, how Napier does it. If Florida falls on his face like we did against UCF, can you imagine the silence? You'll be able to hear a pin drop in Gainesville. So I can't wait. It's exciting.
Yeah, Utah and Florida. That's a good looking matchup.
Yeah, thank God. I'm so tired of playing Eastern Carolina or some directional school.
Yeah, it seemed like the last couple of years you're trying to play all the bad teams in Florida. FAU, South Florida.
Right. All
right, George.
A few weeks ago, I went and watched Joe Burrow's interviews after Florida beat LSU in our place, and then he beat us in his place. Just because I loved the composure of that guy. I didn't know he was going to do what he did today. I just always him after a game, and he doesn't have nobody around. It seems like they gave him free reign just to talk. He can handle himself. He's a mature individual.
Yeah.
And he's just there. He's got a good sense of humor. He's humble enough, about the loss. He's a nice guy. That game was won today by Florida's kicker from a couple of years ago, Evan McPherson. He kicked that winning field goal.
That's right.
And then Joe came and picked him up in the air. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he's been a good kicker.
Right.
Yep.
All right. I know you got to get to bed sometime, so
at some point. All right, George.
Keep it short.
Thanks for calling.
All right.
Good to hear from you.
Good night.
We'll see you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
2 more. Here we go. Two more right here at the Voice of College Football. Who's on the line? And before we take this call, thank you so much, Matt B., for the Super Chat contribution. George is such a legend. All right. Who's on the line?
Good morning, Mark. Marine 76.
Marine 76.
You know, when I sure. When I look at these quarterbacks and consider which one of these were the best college quarterbacks, I could look at a Byron Leftwich, who just ran over all of his weak competition, or I could look at a Brett Favre, who was at a Southern Miss, where they traditionally were overshadowed by Bama and Mississippi and all those SEC schools. Or I could look at somebody like, gosh, it's so late, I'm so damn tired. That guy at Purdue. Then he went to New Orleans.
Drew Brees.
Golly, Drew Brees. And my money's on Drew Brees, because back in the day, I know Purdue is kind of competitive, sort of a mid-tier school in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, you just see him he wasn't necessarily a runner. He sort of moved to throw. And whenever he would throw, he always had a puncher's chance to knock out Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. It didn't really matter. Purdue was always in that game. And I think it was because of the quarterback play, for my money.
Yep. So think of it this way, that Drew Brees took Purdue to a Rose Bowl in 2000, and they haven't been back. And he had one wide receiver, John Sandifer, who played a little bit with the San Francisco 49ers, but otherwise he didn't have any NFL receivers. While those other quarterbacks in the Big Ten that he played would have 2-3 wide receivers play in the NFL. He didn't have those guys. Drew Brees, I always thought, was the most accurate college quarterback I've ever seen.
He had an underrated arm. He had a strong arm too, in my estimation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So now, sort of like a pet topic of mine is expansion, that sort of thing. And I was sort of going by the numbers, looking at the academics, looking at the size of an enrollment, looking at the AAU status. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if Missouri were to hop over to the Big Ten, which would never happen, of course, because they're in the SEC, the best conference. But I finally arrived at the notion that the Big Ten's fine. Stay at 14 teams, because the SEC is going to have to spread that pie around to 16 teams. I mean, I don't care if you have Texas and Oklahoma. There's only a finite amount of money, even though Disney, ESPN has seemingly limitless money. But you're splitting it 14 ways. You're going to be better off just staying put with, I guess, less blue bloods, really.
So there's some truth to what you have to say, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Big Ten, it did not make sense for the Big Ten to expand and fulfill some of these rumors that were out there, like that they were going to go grab Kansas or Iowa State. They just didn't have enough pull with TV ratings, right, TV markets, and then, as you say, you'd have to split the revenue 16 ways instead of 14. But with Texas and Oklahoma, so you make a good point that the revenue split is more divided, but Texas and Oklahoma override that.
You have some experience with ESPN, and I would be curious to ask, wouldn't you want to have a SEC product and then be in the running to potentially have the Big Ten, and potentially, even though the Big 12's kind of down, is going to be down, to have spread that money to those other conferences too, so that you have more football to be seen on your network, instead of putting all the eggs into throwing a bunch of money, let's say, directly at the SEC and giving paltry sums to, say, the other conferences.
Well, if I'm reading your comment correctly, the ESPN does have, of course, contracts with all the conferences.
Yes. I was actually more no need to read into my thinking. I was more interested in your point of view, since you have more experience in the matter.
So just about ESPN's
ability, their mindset of saying, don't we want to incorporate more games from all of the conferences and maybe not invest with totality into the SEC product?
Well, they have. They've got a contract with the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the ACC, the Big 12. They show all those games. They just have a larger stake with the SEC and the ACC.
I was.
They have an SEC network, so they need more SEC inventory. They have an ACC network, so they need more ACC game inventory than the other conferences.
Oh, like I was under the assumption that, so that does make sense because I do see those games on the ESPN then. Because I was thinking like Fox is Big Ten, but then there's might be some Big Ten schools playing on ESPN at sometimes. Never mind then.
Yeah, they don't have exclusive contracts, so ESPN's got all those conferences covered, even the ones that have Fox contracts.
And if it's not overly tedious, from your point of view, and if you can, if this is something you can speak to, I know that you might not be able to, given the circumstances, but do you feel as though there was some yellow journalism going on towards the Big 12 to make the product seem weaker? Now, I don't think Bowlesby has any legal argument against ESPN. I really don't, and I don't think that he wants to go against those lawyers over at Disney either. But I do feel like ESPN was kind of attacking their brand in a way purposefully, just what their journalists were saying over the air.
Yeah, so I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not in a place where I can really comment because I didn't see that firsthand myself. I know that that's been stated by certain people, but I did not see anything to where I thought that ESPN was outwardly, intentionally downgrading the Big 12 in their reporting during that time of expansion. I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't happening.
I see. Do you, I guess I should be more on topic until you get tired. I'm probably slurring my speech at this point because it's so early. But Michael Vick, I wasn't familiar with his time at Virginia Tech because I was in the wrong region of the country. How transformational was he as a college player? Because even as an NFL player, he was very small of frame, but he was such fleet of foot that he really changed the games at the NFL level. I could only imagine how good he was for the Hokies.
Yeah, certainly Michael Vick was the precursor to Lamar Jackson as an NFL quarterback, and one of the reasons why I didn't necessarily understand why there was such pushback as to why a Lamar Jackson could not be an NFL quarterback. But yeah, the most of the, I shouldn't say this exclusively, but the mobile, and when I say mobile, of course, Michael Vick was dynamic, near the very top of the list of dynamic quarterbacks as a runner in the history of college football. But to that point, the running quarterbacks ran option offenses, and you had a very segmented view and categorization of quarterbacks in terms of drop back passers that are good throwers versus option quarterbacks who haven't developed their passing skills. So sort of like a Fran Tarkenton scrambler, but to such a degree that it was unseen before then, in your opinion. Well, I'm glad you bring up Fran Tarkenton. So he was an aberration as well. So, but obviously he wasn't on TV, and we didn't get, well, he's before my time in regards to a college player, but I
only know NFL films.
Yeah. So I got to see him right at the tail end of his NFL career, but yeah, he's a great one to bring up. But if you go through college quarterbacks for prominent programs, you're going to be able to fit them into one of two categories pretty much up to Michael Vick. They are Oklahoma, Nebraska, Jamil Holloway, Charles Thompson, Tommy Frazier, Jarvis Redwine type Turner Gill, I should say, type quarterbacks that ran the option offense for Oklahoma, Nebraska, and to watch them try to throw the ball down. Now, Tommy Frazier was functional. The other guys that I mentioned were not good passers. Or you had the Drew Bledsoe, Gino Torretta, Vinny Testaverde, Bernie Kosar type quarterbacks. And again, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a Steve Young, who was a very mobile quarterback who obviously turned out to
really
be a
good
great,
one at scrambling.
Great thrower as well. So, but yeah, Michael Vick was, I think he, for a lot of different reasons, was just kind of the first of his kind.
That's true. Yeah, at least it felt that way to me at the time. Well, I think that I had something else to say, but since it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't think that I have anything cogent left to say.
Well, I appreciate it.
Hope you have a good night, sir.
Thanks so much for the call. We appreciate it.
Bye now.
All right, Traveling Fools. Yo, 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 yo. I think I got them all in. And that might. Let's see what else we got here. Something else coming in from Exploring with Ben. Have to match Traveling Fool Super Chat since they tune into my random live streams. Exploring with Ben, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. And I think we have pretty much hit the end of the line. Yes, there we go. John Doe. Vince Young is in the GOAT conversation. Absolutely, he is. Cordell Stewart, good comment there. Out of Robert. Makes total sense. Yes, Steve McNair would be another one. Yeah, Michael Vick. There's an evolution to the game. You can't say, okay, this guy started something in the year 1999 and it had never been seen before. Well, of course it was in the likes of Steve McNair and Steve Young and whoever else was mentioned. Who else was mentioned? Cordell Stewart. Yeah, at Colorado. Absolutely. So look at that. John Doe bringing up Garrett Wolf. Northern Illinois. Major Harris, good call. 1988 national championship game playing quarterback. Ryan Leaf, Terry Bradshaw, Louisiana Tech. Charlie Ward, Florida State, early 90s. Joey Hamilton, good call from Jason. Georgia Tech, split a national championship in 1990. Yeah, Fran Tarkington at Georgia. And what a career he had up until Dan Marino. He had all the records in the NFL. Attempts, completions, yardage, touchdowns. Cam Newton. All right, everyone. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. You guys know that, this goes because of you. This works. This is going to continue because of you. So we thank you so much for all that you do. And I am cranking out more conference ratings, and when we put it all together, we will finalize that with a video in which we will put all the numbers down and basically rate the conferences. And I'll let you know if I agree with the numbers that come out, but the numbers are going to be a fair, not a perfect, but a fair representation of what happened on the field this season to rank the conferences. And then we're going to continue with a Heisman series for 2022. And I've got a special project that I'm working on that you'll find out about probably in the next 6 months. And so much else we got to do. And again, if you know of anyone who owns a business and they can certainly profit from being here at the Voice of College Football, let them know that they can contact me at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Matt B., thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Yes, it was a fun evening because of all of you. And, man, I was looking at numbers tonight, and it was kind of crazy that I've been doing this now. Coming up in April, this channel will be 12 years old. Although I didn't get serious about it for about the first 3 years in terms of posting consistent content. And then it's only been here in the last year to 3 months that this is everything. This is my job. This is, this pays the bills, the insurance, the electricity, everything. This is everything. So, at the 6-year mark, after 6 years, and I think of this because sometimes I will see new YouTubers and they're complaining. I'll say it. They're complaining because they only have 300 subscribers after a month, and they think they're going to have 1 million immediately. They have 300 subs after a month. I had after 1 year, I had like 8 subs. After 2 years, I had like 30. It took until like year 7 before I had 1,000 subs after 6 years. So if you divide it, the 12 years, it's going to be 12 years in a few months. You divide the 12 years into 6 years and then 6 years. At the halfway point, after 6 years, I had 700 subs. So I've gained the other 32,000 plus in 6 years. And even then, as many of you tell me on a regular basis, and I appreciate that we should have like 100,000. So let's close the show with this from Davey, our caller of the night, RMFT. And I think we can all interpret that. Good night, everyone. We will see you soon. Hit that bell for the notifications to know when we go live, because we will be coming your way soon, whether that be Sunday, definitely by Monday, here at the Voice of College Football.